Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. Is this rolling? Alrighty. Lesson 61, using letters to identify geometric figures. So here you can see that we have a triangle. And each triangle, each of these is called a point, okay? There's a point, 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 point. Just like these are called points on a line segment, these are points of a triangle, the corners, okay? So you can call this triangle ABC. You can call ABC, you can call it triangle BCA, and this means triangle. Triangle BCA. This is for naming and identifying geometric figures. You can call it triangle CAB. You can call it any name. Well, you can call it any of those as long as you call it triangle BAC. You could call it triangle ACB. And there's one more name that you could call it that I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, there's 6 names that you can call it. So there's one more. The trick with naming these triangles, or any of these geometric figures, is it has to go in order, but it can go in any order. So you could start here and go this way, or you could start here and go this way, or you could start here and go this way, or you could start here and go this way. Any way you want to do it, as long as it's in order, like if you were here and you were going on a train, say, pretend this was a train track, it has to go in the order that you would touch it. It can't go triangle A, well, this one's not a good example because triangles only have 3. So in this one, you could call this rectangle ABCD or rectangle ADCB, but not rectangle ACBD. So you could call it rectangle, which we don't really draw these rectangles, we usually just write them out. So rectangle ABCD, or you could call it rectangle ADCB. But you could not call it rectangle ACBD. Why not? I need you to answer that question. Another thing too is with these math notes, see how I write it on one line and it's not taking up 5 lines for me to just write that? You can do that too, all right? When we're taking notes, it's important that you write on the lines in the space provided so that your notes don't take up 3 or 4 pages. I do all of these on one sheet, and you should be able to do all of these on one sheet as well. So we name a line by naming any 2 points on that line. So we're going to refer to this line as line AB. All right? Or you could call it line BA. Any 2 points on the line. If there was a C here, then you could call it line AC, or line BC, or line CB. Any 2 points on a line can name the line. And this is a ray, and you can name a ray. You have to start at the end point because that's the starting point. See, on a line, there's 2 arrows, so the line could go infinity that way and infinity that way. But a ray starts right here, so you've got to start there. So you could call this ray AB. And if there was any other points on here, say this was like X, you could call it ray AX. You could call it, if down here there was like a point and it said Y, you could call it ray AY. Ray A. All right. When you're writing abbreviations for lines, line segments, and rays, it's important to draw the figure above the letter pair. So, for example, for this line, when you're not writing line, when you're just naming it, you would say A, B, and you would draw this line over it so that you know it's a line. We draw that triangle there to know it's a triangle. But if you're doing a line segment, so if it was like this, A, B, you would write it like this, A, B. And it wouldn't have arrows because that's a line, but if it's just a line segment, say you were just writing, if you just wanted to talk about this section of the line, or just if you wanted to talk about this section of the line, you'd call that AC, and it'd have a line over it, not a line with arrows because it's a line segment. And if you're drawing a ray, then it would be like this, ray, A, B. And you'd put the end point over the one that has the end point, and the arrow over the one that's not the end point, right? So we may name an angle to use a single letter that is its vertex. The vertex would be this D here because that would be the like corner. If there's no chance for confusion. So if you said, you could name it with one letter if you wouldn't get confused. So if you could call it vertex A, you could call it angle A. But if you're gonna name, like if you wanted to say D, for example, you'd say angle, symbol for angle, CDE. And they would know that you're talking about this, CDE, okay? Or if you wanted to do that one, you could do angle ABC, and they would know that it was right here, okay? So example 1. In rectangle ABCD, right? Name the segments perpendicular to the line AB. So remember, perpendicular is the opposite of parallel, and parallel is the ones that go straight, just like these L's do. So perpendicular to AB, so I'm going to write perpendicular to AB, line AB, right? So AB, perpendicular, could be line DA or line CB, okay? And parallel, parallel, not parallel, it's not ballet, to AB is parallel, line segment DC. There's only one because they're parallel, right? Okay, example 2. The length of the segment PQ is 3 centimeters. PR is 8 centimeters. What is the length of QR? So how do you find this out? Well, you take the big one, which is 8 centimeters, and then take this little one that you know is 3 centimeters away, minus 3, and you would have 5. So this is 5 centimeters. And then, I know I don't usually have lesson practice, but you do today because I want you to practice this. Use words to draw an example for each figure. So this is a line, that is a ray. No, this is a line, that is a ray, and this is a line segment. Okay? So I want you to use words to write them out, and I want you to draw an example for each. Have a great day.